Okay. I'm pretty sure that this is working. Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron. And today we're doing, for my project, I picked clear cut forestry. All right. So, starting, what is clear cut forestry? Basically, layman's terms, a clear cut is an area of forest where most of the standing trees are logged at the same time while only a few remain post-harvest. I'm going to focus mostly on Western Oregon as my, subtopic, if you will. And obviously, I have my reasons behind that, but I actually found this to be super interesting. This is something I've been wondering about and curious about. I don't know if anybody has driven up I-5 north up to Oregon or the Oregon coast lately. But this whole clear cut deal is really hard to miss. So when I saw this as an option, it was pretty easy to dive in. First off, two reasons of why clear cutting is a thing. The first, the economic reasons. Rocket Homes by Rocket Mortgage says that the factors like tariffs and extreme weather have reduced supplies. Therefore, with the amount of houses that are going up, especially in Oregon, especially Bend territory, Bend, Western Oregon, houses are going up like crazy, which means wood is in high demand. So the economic reasons of, if you own land to clear cut are obvious. Wood is going at a really high price. But the other reason is forest regeneration. Along with obviously harvesting the wood, clear cutting removes sick trees, which, if you're a landowner, remove them while they're sick. Don't let them spread. We all know, they're all connected through the roots. So one sick tree leads to many, many. And it allows us the opportunity to replant and regenerate the forest that once was. So we can take what is now and also plant for the future so that it's not just a dead-end endeavor, but there's a future in it. So those are the two big reasons. The type of clear cutting, I have 5 here. You can really dive into some other ones, but here are the main 5. The first one is standard. You basically just log all the trees, regardless of the commercial value. We're cutting them down. We're going to get them logged. Pretty simple. Patch cutting. Think of a small landowner, wants to get paid out, doesn't have a ton of land. This is less about the money and more about the forest regeneration, because these guys are going to plant trees. And I have a section, specifically to Oregon, but they will plant trees of, 200 per acre is what Oregon requires. So this is essentially rinse, repeat. I'm going to get my money now. I know that I'm going to get it later as well. Strip cutting, drive along any highway, you're going to see it. It helps with wind tunnels, especially, again, along I-5, going up north, going up 99, wherever you may be, even going down south. You're going to see these rows of trees. Helps with the wind. They get to harvest what they can, but it's also preventative. Selection, also called eco-forestry. So you're basically selecting, individual trees. This is going along with the sick trees, the ones that need to be removed. This will, if you plant other trees, this will help, Sunlight helps with the new trees. You need to re-clear your land. You need to do whatever. This is, very specific. And And obviously, you got to dive into the negative side of it, which is slash and burn. This is basically saying, hey, we're going to throw a bunch of apartments down. Let's make the money we can. Slash and burn is really the negative side of the clear cutting, and was not the best to dive into. So we're going to keep going on. There are pros. There are pros of clear cutting. Most efficient way of logging. Straight up, you cut it all at once, you get it done, you plant trees, and you move on. When you plant trees, especially, if you're doing black cherry, aspen, there are trees that need a lot of sunlight, and this will help for sure. Okay, sorry, I had to pause. Our AC unit went on and it's crazy loud. Increase sunlight for the new trees that you plant. And I'm going to repeat it again. Oregon does a really good job. There's a law that requires you to plant 200 trees per acre. A lot of those trees, aspen, black cherry, poplar, you name it, need a lot of sunshine. So this helps. This also helps with the forest regeneration. It acts like a forest fire. You're cleaning out roots, you're cleaning out trees, you're cleaning out the ground, the soil gets returned over, and you get a forest fire effect on nature without getting the forest fire effect on, the smoke, the burn, trees are left over, the destruction. So in that case, it's great. And then the water flow is a big point. You'll see in the next slide is a pro and a con, but this allows, because there are not so many trees in the ground, this allows for the water to flow naturally, more fluidly, so that the forest regeneration actually happens a lot quicker than it would if you were not to clear cut. So going to the cons. First off, and I think this is, it's a petty con, but let's be real. It looks horrible. If anybody's driven up I-5 and head, west to the Oregon coast, it's horrendous, you guys. It looks so ugly. You look at it and you're like, why? Why are we doing this? And then it brings into your head, okay, well, think about the animals. The wildlife displacement is, think of all of the forest animals, the birds, the chipmunks, the squirrels, the rabbits, deer, everything you name it, especially in Oregon where it's just a plethora of everything above. There are so many forest animals that are getting displaced. It's a guarantee, and it is a really big con of the whole process. And then again, I said it earlier, the water flow. Too much water flow, too steep a hill, can really, really affect negatively to the land. The reason I picked, perfect. Here you go. Why dive into Western Oregon? My brother and sister-in-law live in a small town. They're dairy farmers. Their lifestyle really is exactly what you would expect it to be. Early mornings, long days, amazing views. But when you drive to their house, all you really see is just the clear cutting. It's left and right, and it's excessive. Or at least it looks excessive. And then you talk to them and you see the positives of, hey, we were able to plant a field and it grew into grass because the water flow is so amazing from the stream. This field was able to provide food for our cows. And, with extreme weather, our summers are hot, our winters are cold, everything's just kind of doing this. So for that aspect, it's a total positive. But then they also clear cut above my brother-in-law's parents' house, and a mudslide basically overtook their driveway. And had that gone 15 feet further, we don't even know if they were going to have a house. They had to evacuate. It was a whole ordeal. So when I saw the option to do the clear cutting for this class, I instantly called him and said, "Hey, what do you got? What do you hear? What do you see? How do you feel as a farmer that's affected by the land, growing these cows to they're an organic, they sell to Organic Valley, cream of the crop cows in a farm. How does this affect you? Because it's all around you." And he essentially said, positives and negatives. It's good and it's bad. Luckily now, Oregon treats things correctly. So Oregon law limits you to 120 acres max of clear cutting. You can be no closer than 300 feet from another cut. You can't go into streams. You can't go into rivers, lakes. Obviously, roads is kind of a common sense deal. But the part that I love is cuts that are greater than 25 acres, which is most of them. The owner is required to replant 200 trees per acre within the first 2 years. And I just think that is so, so important. And the other part that I love is it puts the landowners responsible. If you're going to reap the benefits of harvesting your forest, your land, if you're going to get paid out for harvesting that wood, you have to repopulate or you don't get that money and you get a humongous fine. So I want to give kudos to Oregon because I just think that is an awesome, awesome way of doing it. There's so many trees up there and it is so, so common for clear cutting. And back in the day, it was just unregulated. You could just basically do whatever with your land. But now they're very strict. You have to replant. And the regeneration of the forest, because of the increase in sun, because of the increase in water flow, and if it's done correctly, has come back drastically, drastically faster than the natural version of what we're talking about, which is a wildfire, because those trees remain and then the new ones have to grow from that. So again, to quick recap, clear cutting, I don't know what that symbol is. I should probably change that. In Oregon, 120 acres max. You have to repopulate. You have to plant 200 trees per acre within the first 2 years, or it's a massive fine. Why would you do it? Economic reasons, truly. In certain instances, it's about the forest regeneration. It's picking the bad trees, picking the sick trees in order for the rest to grow. And this leads us into the types. There's the standard, the patch, you go piece by piece, strip along the highway, wind tunnels, etc., doing it for a purpose. Selection, like I said, sick trees, ones that are falling over, dead trees, stuff like that. And then the unfortunate, the negative that you do have to mention, because it does happen, it's the slash and burn. Pros, it's the most efficient way of doing it. It increases the forest regeneration, and done correctly will regenerate that forest much, much faster than any other way. The cons are obviously the slash and burn, just wasting trees, mudslides, animal displacement. And then, going back to Oregon's kind of initiative in all of this is, I think they're doing it in the best way possible, because you can now see the regenerated forest and how that looks. And I think if there's a way to do it, it's definitely the way they're doing it. And then here are all these citations. And that's really it. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.